Well, clearly you've heard of Future Health. And if you haven't, well, now you know. They are it when it comes to weight loss. You know about Ozempic, right? Or semaglutide. Well, those GLP-1s that everyone's talking about, that's what Future Health does. It's Sisney from On Air with Ryan Seacrest. Future Health makes it easier than ever to connect with doctors who specialize in them because, let's be real, meds plus movement plus better eating, that's the winning combo to weight loss. And here's the best part. Future Health gives millions access to affordable weight loss meds for less than $3 a day. Just take their quick 3-minute survey, and if approved, boom, your meds are delivered to your door within 24 hours. Oh, and they've got over 6,000 doctors and pharmacies nationwide, so yeah, they know what they're doing. Take the first step. Go to tryfh.com. That's tryfh.com. Find out if weight loss meds are right for you in just 3 minutes at tryfh.com.
Tryfh.com.
Future Health is not a healthcare services provider. Meds are prescribed at provider's discretion. Results may vary. Sponsored by Future Health.
If you own single-family homes and want to rent them out, there are 2 ways to go about it. The hard way and the renter's warehouse way. The hard way means you're doing it alone. Find tenants. Show tenants the property. Deal with tenants. Tenants! Ah! Then there's the renter's warehouse way. Local licensed real estate agents will find qualified tenants and then show the property themselves. With their expert understanding of local real estate, they can better market your property and help you set rent to get the most income. Plus, you'll always deal with people who understand your investment and your goals, whether you own one home or dozens. Renter's Warehouse works with you as your partner, doing all the heavy lifting. All you do is approve tenants and sign off on critical decisions. Renter's Warehouse takes care of business. You cash the rent checks. So go to renterswarehouse.com for a free rental price analysis. That's renterswarehouse.com.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. As you know, Grainger offers 1 million products backed by the scale to deliver when and where they're needed, so the right tools or supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
During tax season, your info travels lots of places you can't control.
W-2 arriving from payroll platform 3.
Everything criminals need to steal your identity is on your W-2.
Last call for accountant at home office, 1 minute.
LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points per second.
Tax preparation data centers with service to IRS. All aboard.
If your identity is stolen, we'll fix it guaranteed, or your money back. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS. Visit LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
As a business owner, how did the benefits enrollment process go for you last year? At the Canopy Group, we want to enlighten you on how to maximize your employee benefit program. We do this by utilizing an innovative online process that easily automates each individual's enrollment. This program educates your employee through a portal so they totally understand their benefit options. In 2025, let the Canopy Group eliminate the administrative headache and empower your employees. Visit thecanopygroup.com, thecanopygroup.com.
819 at KFYR, it's Guns, and the 701 Clay Peterson, where it's finally warmed up.
We are.
Feel better now? Nice 40 degree
like a
swing.
Tropical heat wave, yeah. Isn't that nice?
Yeah, no kidding. Pretty soon it'll thaw out enough that you don't have to keep the water heated for the cows and stuff.
That will even be nicer. Yeah, we're looking at 35 for a high here today, and then by the weekend they're talking 50 down, 100 miles south of you guys. That's about where I live. So, yeah, I'm happy.
That'll be a relief on the electric bill, huh?
Oh, big time. Big time.
Gonna have to go into debt to get that thing paid off.
Oh, my God, yeah. And, of course, they in their infinite wisdom, the commission let the electric companies raise their rates. So thanks for that one,
Well, maybe they'll send $5,000 rebate checks, too, just like the federal government may be doing.
Yeah, wouldn't that be nice?
And now the pressure's on. Now they got to get it done. If not, because otherwise it's going to be complete disappointment and a midterm election, cost. You said there'd be $5,000 checks, and we didn't get them, so we're going to vote for the other. Any little thing to give them a leg,
I mean, it's a kumbaya thing. I guess it's a feel-good thing. I wish they'd take that money and pay the debt, service the debt.
Well,
I don't want it back.
It's only 20% of. They're only spending 20. Or they're saying anyway under the plan, it would be 20% of the money saved under Doge would go to.
I know.
So still, at least 80% of it's. Don't you think we deserve some of that money? All right, tell you what, don't send Clay his. Send me $10,000.
Well,
I'll get the economy stimulated. All he's going to do is pay the power bill. He's already spent the money. I haven't spent the money yet.
That's only one tank of diesel, for the point. But what I'm getting at is I'd really, and I want to make sure that it only goes to those who pay income tax, because let's remember, not everybody does. So they shouldn't get checks, and that's what I'm afraid of. There is no reason for people who didn't pay in, and there's a lot of them out there, you don't deserve one. It's that simple. You didn't pay in, you don't get any, and that's always what happens. You can't just give it to everybody.
I still want to find out what in the world Joe Biden sent me a student loan rebate check. Not only canceled what I still owed, which is like $1,000 some odd. I was just deliberately dragging my feet paying it because I wanted to see if I could get well into my 70s and still have a student loan from college dragging out that long.
There you go.
But then one day that was forgiven or whatever. Okay, all right. And then a few months later, a check for $1,018 or whatever the heck it was.
Yeah, and those of us that paid ours off our mistakes off like that.
Oh yeah, no kidding, right?
We didn't get nothing.
Yeah, and there are plenty of people that go for advanced degrees, work like crazy to get them paid off as soon as possible, so they're out from under the debt.
Yep.
Oh man. Imagine being one of those people and, now you don't have to pay for it anymore. Well, I could have paid off a couple of houses or something here. What the heck? Anyway, it's a great big day tomorrow. Do you have the day off tomorrow on 2/2/2?
It should be a national holiday.
It should be.
A holiday, absolutely, yeah. I've seen that. Brownells, and they're a great company, too. They are hosting their 4th annual 2A Day on February 22nd. That's tomorrow. So get out there and celebrate the Second Amendment. They're doing a few things. They got some great sponsors, a lot of ammo companies, gun companies, and I always love seeing Magpul in there because Magpul makes a lot of great accessories, and they're definitely a USA-based company. But they are going to go ahead and do this nationwide event dedicated to celebrating the Second Amendment, of course, advocating for our protection and preservation of the firearms amendments and the Second Amendment and everything we do with it. So it's great to see that. They encourage every gun owner to actively support it. If they can't get to the actual event, go to your local ranges, see if your local organizations are doing anything. Now, I did see when I clicked their map, both the North Dakota Shooting Sports Association along with the South Dakota and Wyoming. So if you're in that 3-state area, they're all doing something evidently according to the map. I didn't call each individual organization, but it was great to see that. If you look up Brownell's 2A Day webpage, just go ahead and search that. It'll take you right to that map and to what they're planning. So it's just a great way to say, hey, we love the Second Amendment. It's a guaranteed right. It basically tells the government to go stick it because they cannot infringe on our rights, even though they try each and every day. So I think it's a great idea. And during February 18th, which passed, of course, to the 23rd, Brownell is going to donate 4% of all their sales to supporters of the Second Amendment, state and national organizations, the way it sounds. So great way if you go there and do a little business. Not that they're sponsoring us or anything.
Jeez, weave that in. And then Jamie points out it's Cartridge Day the next day.
It is, yeah. I mean, you can't beat this stuff, can you?
You get the whole weekend. How about that?
Yeah, go out there and send some freedom seeds downrange with your freedom rods and have some fun.
When those 2 days fall during the week, like a Monday and Tuesday, you should have a whole 4-day weekend then.
I think so. I mean, they take dumber things off, so why not that?
Exactly. Clay Peterson, Guns of the 701, 825 at KFYR. Congressman with a history of gun control says Democrats should bring actual weapons in fight for democracy. Some of them, I don't know if we want them playing with them, but, you know.
I don't, because most of them don't like firearms, and they probably don't even know how to use them. As we saw in Biden's crazy administration, I mean, heck, his people, even at ATF, couldn't even operate a simple Glock. So, I mean, come on, and they're the head of the alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. But Robert Garcia, a Democrat from California, this guy is an anti-gunner, has been. He has supported universal background checks, expanding the ATF's authority over you and I, banning firearm sales and possession for adults under 21, bulk ammunition sales. I mean, you name it, he's probably been for it. The biggest one that he really got involved with was getting rid of AR-15s. We call them modern sporting rifles. They like to call them weapons of war, which didn't happen until we sent them to the Ukraine, but that's a whole other story. Anyway, we got this idiot out there saying, we want to take your guns away, but we can't stand Trump. He's a threat to democracy, which, by the way, we don't have a democracy. It's a representative republic.
Yeah, I wish more people realize that.
Oh, I hate hearing that word.
I always love correcting civics teachers when they'd say democracy.
I know it. It's
shut
crazy,
them up right then and there.
Luckily, I had a great government teacher, and he taught us correctly. So that's great. And he basically said, we should take up arms. We bring actual weapons. Now, I believe they impeached our president, President Trump, in his first term. They put a whole bunch of people in gulags in D.C. for January 6th who, by the way, did not bring firearms, but supposedly were instigating an insurrection without firearms. That's interesting enough as it is. But this guy is actually calling for this, and not a peep out of the Democrats. Not one single peep. I think he should step down, personally. If anybody's inciting rhetoric and violence and insurrection, it's this guy. I mean, that's how you do it. If you're going to do it, you grab your firearms and take up arms. I mean, we did that.
I think everybody should have to take up muskets.
You go.
Let's go back to the American Revolution. It's like, okay, you want to know what this country was founded on? Grab your musket, get in line, and be ready.
There you go. Stand at guard, right?
This commercial is brought to you by the American Musket Association.
By the way,
yes,
you don't need to do an FFL 4473 background check for muskets. They're considered antique firearms, so they're even more accessible. There you go.
Well, I mean, if you're one of the so-called crazies that need a gun to fire quickly, that's probably not the one you're picking up. So,
well, you'll be able to fire it quickly once.
Well, exactly. I don't know what show is my wife was watching it. I wasn't really paying attention, but I look up and this ball rolls out of this musket as this guy's encountering somebody in his home, and I'm like, oops, that's kind of the telltale that things are about to go as unplanned. But
that wasn't not thought out well.
No. When did they come up with the first semi-automatic musket?
First semi-automatic
just a whole bunch of balls in a row they're ready to shoot out.
I guess you had the original Navy pistols. They were cap and ball with percussion, but it was a revolver, so that might have been the closest thing to it.
Clay Peterson guns to the 701-828 KFYR. More coming up.
It's Mitchell in the morning. KFYR 550.
Well, the movement on interest rates is likely coming around the corner. We'll talk about what that means next on the Dakota Farm and Ranch Report.
There are a lot of black-hided Angus bulls on the market, but not all are registered. Why take that risk? Don't gamble on unproven genetics. Invest wisely with registered, powered by Angus bulls. Backed by the power of data of the American Angus Association and 80 million data points, registered Angus bulls give you confidence in your buying decision. Look for the registration number. Buy the power. Buy registered Angus bulls.
With the Dakota Farm and Ranch Report, I'm Scott Bachmeyer. Questions abound about the health and direction of the farm economy is coming around the corner. Ben Brown, an ag economist, says he's getting a lot of questions about the overall U.S. economy.
I've been getting more and more questions about the macro economy and just kind of where we see things going as it relates to consumer expenditures, as it relates to the employment market, and then frankly, interest rates. That's one of the things that really can impact agriculture producers a lot is how much they're paying for operating notes at the beginning of the year that they repay back at the end of the year. So a lot of questions about where interest rates could go in the months ahead.
He also talks about the impact and direction of interest rates in the months ahead.
So I've been of the opinion that interest rates are maybe a little bit lower right now than where we probably need to see them to have a neutral position. That's my opinion. Others might disagree, and certainly there's people all over the spectrum. But my opinion is that the last year in 2024, we saw a 1 percentage point decrease in the federal funds rate. That's that short-term federal funds rate set by the Federal Reserve. We saw a full percent, and half maybe was justified. I felt like the other half was just the market moving because that's what the Fed did, because that's what the market was expecting them to do.
He also says it's unlikely that interest rates can stay where they're at this point. With the Dakota Farm and Ranch Report, I'm Scott Bachmeyer.
KFYR, your ag authority.
The free iHeartRadio app has over 100 commercial-free stations waiting for you to explore right now, like Motown Sounds.
My girl, my girl.
The very best Motown from the Supremes, Stevie Wonder, Smokey Robinson, and more. Open the free iHeartRadio app, search Motown Sounds, and listen now. Commercial free. iHeartRadio. Free never sounded so good.
Well, clearly you've heard of Future Health. And if you haven't, well, now you know. They are it when it comes to weight loss. You know about Ozempic, right? Or semaglutide. Well, those GLP-1s that everyone's talking about, that's what Future Health does. It's Sisney from On Air with Ryan Seacrest. Future Health makes it easier than ever to connect with doctors who specialize in them because, let's be real, meds plus movement plus better eating, that's the winning combo to weight loss. And here's the best part. Future Health gives millions access to affordable weight loss meds for less than $3 a day. Just take their quick 3-minute survey, and if approved, boom, your meds are delivered to your door within 24 hours. Oh, and they've got over 6,000 doctors and pharmacies nationwide, so yeah, they know what they're doing. Take the first step. Go to tryfh.com. That's tryfh.com. Find out if weight loss meds are right for you in just 3 minutes at tryfh.com.
Tryfh.com.
Future Health is not a healthcare services provider. Meds are prescribed at provider's discretion. Results may vary. Sponsored by Future Health.
KFYR.
Fox News, I'm Therese Crowley. After pulling an all-nighter, the Senate managed to pass its version of a Trump budget blueprint, focusing on border security, energy, and the military. Different from the one big beautiful bill in the House the president prefers. The House tackles its version next week. Elon Musk on stage with a chainsaw, a surprise gift from Argentina's president at the conservative CPAC convention, talking about what Doge cost cutters are finding.
We just did a check the database on Social Security, like says how many alive Americans eligible for Social Security are there? And according to the database, it's over 400 million. And we're like, wait a second.
Israel's prime minister says Hamas will pay for this. The kidnapped hostage they returned in a coffin was not Cherie Bibas, the mother of 2 dead toddlers handed over. IDF forensics now show Hamas murdered the babies with their bare hands. America's listening to Fox News.
And now from North Dakota's News Authority, Todd Mitchell, KFYR Radio News.
A significant and rapid warm-up expected through the weekend into next week. The entire region likely to see highs above freezing tomorrow. 40s and 50s across much of the region by Sunday. Chances for rain and snow may return Sunday into Monday, mainly across North Dakota, the northern half of Minnesota, and southern Manitoba. For Bismarck today, the warm-up on the way. After a high of 8 yesterday, 32 today. Clear to partly cloudy, 11 tonight. Some cloud cover, 43 tomorrow. 51 Sunday. 52 Monday. And 50 on Tuesday. The U.S. Senate passed its fiscal 2025 budget resolution, 52 to 48, the first step in the expedited budget process known as budget reconciliation, setting the parameters for Congress to craft and pass a budget. Senator Kevin Cramer spoke afterward.
It's pretty darn clear that the American people delivered a mandate for change on Election Day, and our resolution really does a couple of things. It brings us a step closer to achieving what are President Trump's top priorities, starting starting with securing our borders and reestablishing American strength by bolstering national defense, and then unlocking America's full energy potential that helps pay for it and, of course, grows our economy at the same time.
House of Representatives must pass its version to keep the process moving. Police departments in Ray and Stanley arrested 24 people, part of a months-long operation targeting sex crimes and online prostitution. Ray Police Chief Greg Pinsky indicates their efforts led to 10 arrests for prostitution and other solicitation-related offenses between early December and early February. One of those charged with luring minors by computer. A report from Stanley Police Chief Kevin Litton indicates his department arrested 14 individuals for prostitution in an operation that started in January. 3 of those also faced drug charges. While the departments made separate arrests, they each focused on targeting those using online platforms to engage in illicit activities. Pinsky said investigators are reviewing evidence to determine whether there are any additional connections to larger criminal networks or human trafficking operations. North Dakota's Senate passed a bill changing a key public meeting requirement. The body voted to approve Senate Bill 2069 to allow state agencies to hold a public meeting even if a notice fails to run in a newspaper. Supporters say agencies will still be required to post a notice on the Secretary of State's website, but if a newspaper fails to publish a notice, it'll still be allowed to move forward. The bill still need to be approved by the House. 2 people with serious injuries after a one-vehicle rollover near Dickinson, a man and woman from Richardson, injured Wednesday night when their vehicle entered the median on I-94 and overturned. The 2 not wearing seatbelts. The driver, a 42-year-old man, has been charged with DUI. Officials say there are fewer fires in North Dakota in 2024 than the previous year. Preliminary data from the state fire marshal resulting in nearly $27 million in property losses. That compared to 3,100 incidents in 2023. The final report will be out in September. And tribal leaders gathered at the Capitol yesterday for Native American Affairs Day, about 200 reportedly at the event, with 18 booths representing various tribal organizations and programs, and a discussion of important topics like the missing and murdered Indigenous women crisis. Advocates are calling for the Capitol building to be lit up on May 5th, MMIW Awareness Day. After record cold this week, we're around the corner from some possible record warmth. Your KFYR AccuWeather forecast is coming up.
The free iHeartRadio app has over 100 commercial-free stations waiting for you to explore right now, like Motown Sounds.
My girl, baby, everything is alright. Uptight.
The very best Motown from the Supremes, Stevie Wonder, Smokey Robinson, and more. Open the free iHeartRadio app, search Motown Sounds, and listen now. Commercial-free. iHeartRadio. Free never sounded so good.
Here's your AccuWeather forecast. Sunshine and not as cold today. The high today 32. Clear to partly cloudy for tonight with the low at 11. Variable cloudiness for tomorrow. The high 43. And then clear to partly cloudy for tomorrow night, low 25. Sun and clouds, mild windy day on Sunday. The high Sunday afternoon 51. Monday, clouds and breezy and the high 52. Get your weather news when you want it from AccuWeather.com with your AccuWeather forecast. I'm Steve Williams.
7 below at KFYR 839. More with Guns and the 701 coming up.
The countdown is on to our iHeart Podcast Awards.
Live at South by Southwest.
Creativity, knowledge, and passion will all be on full display.
Watch March 10th on iHeartRadio's YouTube and Facebook, and listen on iHeartRadio stations across America.
And the iHeart Podcast Award goes to
Audible is a proud sponsor of the Audible Audio Pioneer Award. Explore the best selection of audiobooks plus podcasts and originals, all in one easy app. Audible, there's more to imagine when you listen. Sign up for a free trial at audible.com.
Well, clearly you've heard of Future Health. And if you haven't, well, now you know. They are it when it comes to weight loss. You know about Ozempic, right? Or semaglutide. Well, those GLP-1s that everyone's talking about, that's what Future Health does. It's Sisney from On Air with Ryan Seacrest. Future Health makes it easier than ever to connect with doctors who specialize in them because, let's be real, meds plus movement plus better eating, that's the winning combo to weight loss. And here's the best part. Future Health gives millions access to affordable weight loss meds for less than $3 a day. Just take their quick 3-minute survey, and if approved, boom, your meds are delivered to your door within 24 hours. Oh, and they've got over 6,000 doctors and pharmacies nationwide, so yeah, they know what they're doing. Take the first step. Go to tryfh.com. That's tryfh.com. Find out if weight loss meds are right for you in just 3 minutes at tryfh.com.
Tryfh.com.
Future Health is not a healthcare services provider. Meds are prescribed at provider's discretion. Results may vary. Sponsored by Future Health.
If you own single-family homes and want to rent them out, there are two ways to go about it. The hard way and the renter's warehouse way. The hard way means that your bookkeeper, handyman, real estate agent, rent collector, receptionist, marketing agent, tenant handholder-in-chief, complaint box monitor, and Then there's the renter's warehouse way, where you're the boss and you have people, aka renter's warehouse, to do all of that. Their job is to support your investment. Whether it's one house or dozens, you'll get their full attention. And you can access and track everything easily from your homeowner's portal. View your rental income and expenses, tracking maintenance requests, and everything else while Renter's Warehouse does the heavy lifting. And since their pricing is transparent, you understand your costs and what you're getting, and that there will never be additional fees. In fact, with their tenant warranty included, if a tenant defaults, they'll replace them for free. Renter's Warehouse takes care of business. You cash the rent checks. Go to renterswarehouse.com for a free rental price analysis. That's renterswarehouse.com.
841 at KFYR, Dakota Morgan's Michael Bell after 9 with James Oderman, Nick Archuleta of North Dakota United, and Senator Kevin Kramer coming up. More on the Burleigh County Commission versus Burleigh County Auditor, and should the auditor treasurer position be appointed or elected. There was a town hall last night. Dustin Goverlow and Darrell Lees were there, and we'll go through some of that stuff after 3 o'clock in the KFYR Cafe. Meanwhile, it's Guns of the 701. Clay Peterson here with me at 842. So apparently you only care about the Second Amendment and none of the rest of them.
That's what you were saying. I devoted to that, hence, the Guns and the 701. I'll tweak this guy a little more. We are the EIB network of the Dakotas. How about that? See if he even knows what that means, this idiot. Anyway. And by the way, the Second Amendment protects all of the other ones, which, by the way, for a little education and history, there's 27 amendments, you idiot. There, I can say it, you can't, Todd.
Hey, I got a line for you. Ready? Talent and guns on loan from God.
Oh, there we go. That sounds like a T-shirt for Todd the Radio God.
Hey, I'd wear it probably.
Perfect. Yeah, I might have to have you text me that so I don't forget.
Let's get some video of me walking Lake Street, Minneapolis, with that thing on.
Perfect. Right downtown there. Yeah.
Talent and guns on loan from God.
And we know where you want to take the picture in front of too.
I chickened out on that one. I had it. I'm glad nobody looked in the car, because that's all they would have had to do, and then all of a sudden that would have been the end. But yeah, no. 38th in Chicago for those of you playing the home version of the game. Just leave it at that.
After that guy's question, yes, we dearly love the Second Amendment. We care about all the amendments, and I am so glad that our president, Trump, Donald J. Trump, is out there fighting and protecting each and every one of them. How's that, Todd? By the way, tell that guy, thanks for listening. We enjoyed it.
Absolutely.
Glad you tuned in.
Absolutely. All citizens deserve to have their rights protected? Yes. I totally agree. All citizens should have, at least all law-abiding citizens. I mean, if you're going to bust the law, that's why we have a Second Amendment. But
and then we're going down a little different rabbit hole, and that's fine. The Second Amendment protects each and every person. United States citizens, not illegals, by the way.
Yeah, I was going to say. So not literally everybody, but
right.
We're just chasing them back across the Mexican border, and then whatever happens. But
right, yeah. And by the way, it was put there. Let's just face it. It was put there because our founding fathers actually saw the problems with what could come up. And Madison is the one who basically put this into and enshrined it probably into our Constitution when they were writing it. They did not want to have any issues in the future from tyrants. The King of England, he's the guy that was the problem. And this was over taxes. Remember, this kind of started out over taxes.
True.
So that's a whole other rabbit hole, but it was enshrined in our Constitution. It tells the government what it can't do to you, not what you can do, what they can't do to you, and that's the whole beauty of our Constitution. And I'm proud to say that I voted for Trump 3 times. And now there's people out there saying, change the Constitution for a 3rd term. No, I don't support that. Let's leave that alone. I think 2 is enough for anybody. So I do believe in term limits that way. So, yeah, I love the fact that we have a guy in charge who's putting people in charge that actually respect the Constitution and what it means. And the second protects them all. I mean, without the second, we would have nothing. We'd have nothing. And, I'm glad to see it, because the last 4 years, those of us who were law-abiding, we absolutely were being infringed upon it every turn we took.
And speaking of
from the ATF to the FBI to everything, yeah.
Speaking of kings and queens and stuff,
By Lieutenant Frank Griffin.
Protecting the safety.
Fire! You can use my radio mic.
Thank you.
probably should have queued it up to this, but doing it on the
Thank
fly.
you, Your Honor. Protecting the safety of the Queen is a task that's gladly accepted by police squad. For no matter how silly the idea of having a queen might be to us, as Americans, we must be gracious and considerate hosts.
There you go. That's what makes our country great right there.
There you go. Making America great back then, right?
Frank Drebin for the next leader of the FBI after Cash decides he's had enough.
Yeah.
All right, I know Leslie Nielsen's dead. Don't. Hey, what do you say? Okay, let's just put this one on the table, and then we'll get back to, because I know we got some North Dakota bills we need to go through. But what do you tell the people that are mad about the January 6th insurrectionists?
I tell them to get over it, because nothing happened. And by the way, the truth has come out on all of that. The cam footage has been released. The only person killed during January 6th was an actual person attending. Should they have been in the Capitol? No. People that went in there, they shouldn't have done that, even though I still think that they were invited in a lot of ways, because they sure didn't try to stop them much. But a police officer actually shot an unarmed participant. So that's the only person that died in that whole thing. They weren't insurrectionists. Again, they didn't bring up arms to go overthrow the government. They were pissed, plain and simple.
Yeah.
And they should have been. There was plenty of reasons to be mad as to what happened. And they were not trying to overthrow the government. They were trying to ask their government to actually follow the Constitution, which, if you haven't read into the articles and read into what goes on in the Constitution, the vice president did have some sole power to do something if they wanted to. It would have been, historical, no doubt about it. But the Congress has to certify elections. It's the only way it can happen. And if they don't, they can send it back to the states. The states can send different electors. No laws were broke. And you know what? They were exercising their First Amendment rights. Again, we love all of the amendments. They have the right to assembly, to petition their government, freedom of speech. That's just 3 of the 5 enshrined in the First Amendment. So to those people, they can just go pound sand, because there was no insurrection. I really don't care about their opinions, and I'm glad that Trump
Clay Peterson for president 2032. They can just go pound sand.
That's right.
Well, there you have it.
I have a big silver bullet that when I retired from the NRA, the volunteers got for me, and on the side of it says pound sand. So, yeah.
That's all you need to know about Clay. Clay Peterson, guns to the 701-849 at KFYR. So, North Dakota legislative update. What do we got?
Well, I guess I'm going to do the baiting bill first, which is basically House or Senate Bill 2137. That bill essentially says that the department, which is North Dakota Game and Fish, may not adopt a rule or implement a policy prohibiting and restricting the use of supplemental feed on private property for hunting a big game animal. This has been, of course, debated many times. The reason I bring it up again is that it did pass 31-15. Unfortunately, Senator Cleary, you voted wrong on this, and I bring him up because he's been an issue this year as far as some of these bills when it comes to our rights. And he's in the Bismarck area. But thanks to Eberly, Scheibel, Magrum, and Boehm, I saw that they were yays in the Senate. There's a bunch of other ones there that did a great job, but thanks to them guys, I know them all. Scheibel is actually part of District 31 where I'm at. But this thing passed, like I said, 31-15. February 18th, it was introduced for its first reading. and referred to the Energy and Natural Resources Committee in the House. So keep an eye on this. Get up there and support it like everybody did for the Senate. Generally, coming out of the Senate and going to the House, this particular bill probably has the momentum to make it. Hopefully the representatives get the message. I mean, there was a big turnout for testimony, and the bill is great. So, but I really want to see them pass this one. The other one here I have is HB. That's House Bill 1470. And this one actually, it actually increases a lot of the fees on your hunting licenses, resident and non-resident alike. Unfortunately, it did pass. It passed 64 to 25 in the House, and it goes on to the Senate now. February 19th, it was received from the House, so keep your eye on that one. 64 yeas. It's very disheartening to see that, honestly, in my opinion. Thanks to the nays, there was 25 of them in the House. Heilman, Hawley, Rohr, Tevitt. Hawley and Rohr are both from District 31, so please reach out to them and thank them. Donna Henderson, Holverson, and Koppelman, Christensen, Jared Hendricks, and Dan Johnston all voted nay on this, along with their colleagues. We want to thank them for that. Here's my problem with it. What do they need it for? When you go look at the testimony of the increase in fees, it's really governmental agencies, just like the budget bill. The budget bill is the same exact way. They passed a budget, $114,599,190, and that was for the biennium, so $57,299 and change each year. The fee increases that they're proposing on some of this stuff, they're going to bring in an extra $17 million of extra revenue, which is going to result in $131,769,190 for the biennium for game and fish. And that doesn't include any of the extra money they get from the feds for CWD, whatever program they're doing out there, Pittman Robinson money. I mean, this is a lot of money that the game and fish has, and now they're coming to the well and asking for more with really no reason to. If you can't operate on that kind